Hi, I thought I would talk a little bit about the interview assignment, maybe a bit more casually than some of the stuff that I have in Module 2. But you do need to go through Module 2 and look at all of that information. Um, the assignment itself is detailed and you should follow that. It talks about the questions and who's appropriate to interview and who's not and all that, and so you should do that. The other thing is that there are some examples, or there's an example of the way that this document looks when you turn it in. And what I'm thinking is this, that it's probably about 2.5 pages, 2.25 pages, because what you have is you have four different parts. You have an introductory paragraph or two, but no more than that, of context, where you sort of explain the interview and what how the interview was set up and what its subject is. And I have lots of details on that in the modules. Then you've got the questions that you ask the person, and that's all going to depend on the subject. And when we're doing the discussion for this, I'll push you for questions and things like that, and I'll make some suggestions. And that should be pretty easy. But when you do this sort of thing, you always have what's called a question protocol. It's a list of questions that you're going to ask to get the information that you need to get about a particular subject that you're researching, right? And of course, this is primary. And so you're collecting insights and experiences that haven't been collected before. So that's a very good thing. Anyway, so you'll compose these 5 or 6 questions, or you could compose 4 and then put a couple in that are prompt questions to get richer responses, and that would be good. And then under the questions, you want to have what the person says to answer the questions. Now, because this is not an entire transcript, which in a piece of serious professional research you'd have to have in the appendix, it's a kind of edited transcript. So what you'll have is you'll have a question, maybe you'll have an inch and a half of response. You don't put it in the third person like you're writing a novel, you know, he said, she said. You just let the person speak for himself or herself. You get down exactly what the person has said in response to that question. Then the last part of this is that you have to kind of think about what the person told you, and you need to reiterate the main ideas and sort of the themes and the meaning of the entire interview, and you put that in a paragraph or two right at the end, a kind of concluding discussion. And what that does is it puts it in perspective for your readers, but it also puts in perspective for you, because you think you know what people are saying to you, but then once you record it and you get down and you review it, you might find that actually there are other messages there, that there's a deeper, subtler kind of intention behind what the person is saying, right? And so I just wanted to kind of talk about that, and to kind of keep in touch with you, and keep it a little casual here. But next week, I think it's the 14th, right? You should have an interview. And again, as with all this stuff, I get back to it pretty quickly. And if you need to do any revisions and you get back to me quickly, then you can really move forward and do well. The problem with the Summer 2 class is that the grades are due shortly after the class closes. And so in a Summer 1 class, the instructors have a little bit more latitude to take work. But in this class, the work's pretty much got to be there by the deadline. All right. Thank you, and stay in touch, and I hope that this was helpful.